New York City Inwood Stand Up, man. We are back at it, man, in the studio today with a very, very special guest, man. Like, we are very honored, man. The listening room is very, very honored to receive the one and only Jodie Lyn-Kee-Chow, man. Like, so I gotta give you a little some of her background, man. So she's like a multidisciplinary artist. Like, she a visual artist, like, she a performer, she a school teacher, like, she does it all, man. When I mean, like, the lady does it all, she does it all. So I got lucky enough to actually to work on one of her projects and not too long ago, and I was like, I gotta sit with her, man. I need to know more about that book. So yes, the listening room is very, very honored to want to receive the one and only, man, Jodie, man. Welcome to the listening room. How you doing?
Oh, thank you so much for the warm welcome, Z.
Oh, come on, man. That's the least we can do, man.
Oh my gosh.
And so thanks a lot for taking the trip all the way up here, man, to Inwood, man. Like, she's coming all the way from, you were in Long Island City, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Like, so we are really, like, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. But first, how are you doing? How's your day going so far?
I can't complain. There are wars going on.
Oh, man.
So I'm just grateful.
I hear you.
And for the most part, I had a very busy day, but it was rewarding.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you, man. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said first, I did introduce you a little bit there, but of course, you know yourself way better than I do. So if you can tell our listeners, man, people that follow us, people that will listen to the show, man, who exactly are you? What do you do? Briefly before you even get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Z?
I'm amazing, man. So actually, I'm lucky I got to spend the day with my daughter. So she was in Brazil for a month. She came back and spent half a day here with me today, and she's on a plane to France as we speak. So we got to spend half a day together. Yeah, it was great. It was really good to see her. She had an amazing time out there. So, so that's been most of my days today. And then just sitting home here, waiting for you to come so we can get you finally in here.
Oh, nice.
So, exactly. Thank you for asking.
Yes, it's like a beautiful day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, I did get a chance to, people, guys, I'm a dancer, man. So, sometimes I just like to put my music, and I went by the river and I had some dancing. I just put my music and express myself. That's just, it's exactly just a release, man. Just me and the music and the concrete. Just exactly.
Well, that's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Because my day also involved doing a little creative work.
Okay.
So I was teaching earlier today.
Okay. You're gonna talk about all of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so where do you want me to start? What was that question?
So first, man, I'm about to take you back to your roots, man. We want to know where Jodie grew up. What was your first influences? As far as the art is concerned, because you do so many different things. But we want to get your background first. We want to take you back to the roots.
Okay. Jeez. Well. First of all, yeah, I was born in Jamaica, Mandeville, Manchester, Jamaica.
Okay.
So that's center, but more on the west side of the island.
Okay.
And just next door to St. Elizabeth, where Hurricane Melissa happened not too long ago.
Oh man, we seen it. I remember actually that was not too long after we finished the show. I remember coming to meet you at some point. And you were telling you were concerned about your family. You posted some stuff online that I was really concerned. Yeah. But luckily, I believe you were saying that everybody got spared, everybody was safe.
Yes.
But there were a lot of damages. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, I was born there in the. I don't even need to say because I want everyone to know how old I am. But if you know me, you probably know.
You look amazing. So
thank you. Well, actually, maybe it's good in terms of where I'm coming from, of course, and how it informs my art.
Yeah.
So I would say that, I was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
And I was a child in Jamaica until the age of 11. And I was, we left Jamaica in the mid-'80s, so do your math.
Mm-hmm.
My parents and me and my siblings, we migrated to the States, and the first place we went to was was Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Georgia. Yeah, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that part, but you want me to give you a little bit of about Jamaica growing up there? It was just so wonderful. I had a beautiful childhood in retrospect. I lived, like the countryside. It was pretty much like where I grew up. It was like a mixture between the suburbs and the countryside. I don't know. It's very, we had a nice home and like very picturesque. I would walk to school.
Nice.
In the nature, and it was safe. I picked blueberries on my way home from school. I had friends to play with, instead of phones,
Yeah, absolutely. This generation, man, don't know nothing about that.
It was growing up in the 70s and 80s, that was the best.
The best,
and
absolutely.
You,
absolutely.
That was when hip hop came up. That's when, like the reggae, like I grew up, I remember when I was like around 7 years old, I think, it was 6 or 7, somewhere in that age range.
Yeah.
I came home from my elementary school. I went to Bel Air Prep in Jamaica. So if any of you are from Jamaica, you know Bel Air Prep.
Okay.
It's a private school, but my parents sent me there, and my godfather was my art teacher.
Okay.
And so I remember that a lot of my childhood, and I grew up going to St. Elizabeth, where my grandparents were from.
Okay.
And so they basically had farms. Like my grandmother on my mom's side was a mango farmer.
Nice.
And my grandfather was too, but I didn't know him because he passed just when I was born, like maybe a year after I was born. And then my dad's side of the family, my grandmother had a farmer too. So she was like a single mom pretty much though. Anyway, so just to give you an idea, I grew up like around a lot of landscape meant a lot to me and my parents. Agriculture was important. I grew up on organic food most of the time.
Sweet.
It was before, the capitalism like really took hold, like, before all these fast food chains came out, like there was like one, there was KFC I grew up seeing, and Burger King. And then fast forward, it's like the mid 80s. And then my parents, we all moved to Atlanta, Georgia, of all places, because we had family there on my mom's side. And there we stayed only for 1 year, because we went from living in like a 4-bedroom house in Jamaica to a 4-bedroom apartment in Atlanta, Decatur. And the neighborhood was, like, the school was segregated. I went to a predominantly black school, which is, first of all, it's culture shock, because Jamaica is so much different from Atlanta.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you there. How was that change? How was that change there? Like, from the sun to, from being outdoor all the time to being like mostly like,
Yeah. Let me get my story right back.
Yes.
By the way, because I meant to tell you about when I was 6, 7 years old, one of the fondest memories I had growing up in Jamaica. Well, not fondest memory, but it's a memory that doesn't leave me. It was when Bob Marley passed away, and they announced it on the radio.
Yeah.
This your whole album wall is making me think of, let's say something about Bob Marley. And so I'm sorry, I'm just like, I'm horrible at telling my narrative. I feel like I skip chapters, and I'm just
you got a pretty good memory, man.
But anyway, Bob Marley passed away, was on the radio, and I remember I just came home from school.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on? And they announced when he died, and it was just like the biggest thing. And to grow up and witness Bob Marley, a legend, like, all this is going on, he passed away.
Yeah.
It was monumental.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that made an impact, on me, like, even at that young age, thinking, oh, we could be from this little island, and everybody could know who we are.
Exactly.
So,
wow.
Yeah, that remained with me somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fast forward in Atlanta, Georgia, and then after that, my family moved to Miami after 1 year there.
I see. So, like, so in Georgia, man, like, if you remember, like, just like, school, like, like from how was school in Georgia compared to, like, when you were in Jamaica, for example?
Oh, in Jamaica, we had to wear school uniforms.
Okay.
That's mandatory.
Yes.
And
where is that tradition from? If you went
England, the UK. I wore a gingham plaid uniform to school every single day. And then we had the Brownie Scouts, the Girl Scouts. I was a Girl Scout too.
Yeah.
So, that's all adopted from here too. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, and then coming to America, I was like, oh, we don't have to wear uniforms anymore. But, you know, it was more expensive for my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because with 4 kids, it wasn't
Yeah,
cheap.
I see. And I would like to know actually, like, what was your first involvement with the arts, just to begin with? I mean, of course, you did mention about, like, being, have your, somebody in your family actually into the arts. But, like, I mean, what was your first involvement yourself? Like, when, how you, let's say you went to a museum and then you see a piece and you're like, oh, wow. Like, I mean, what was that moment for you?
Oh,
like,
wow. Gee, I mean, my godfather was my art teacher, and
yes,
I would walk into
that.
his house and see these Afro-Jamaican sculptures around the house. Very figurative sculptures made out of mahogany.
Okay.
That is very commonplace in terms of Jamaican art that you might see on the roadside. Some of it might be folky, some of it it's very African inspired art.
Absolutely.
In particular that he had in his home. So I remember going there as a young child and seeing that and just kind of taking that all in.
Okay.
And then it's maybe that was my first exposure.
Okay.
To seeing art. And then when I was in elementary school in Jamaica, prep school in Jamaica too, they would take the class on a field trip to the theater, and we would see the pantomime.
Okay.
And so, seeing plays basically. I grew up seeing that too.
Amazing.
So just one. It wasn't like my parents, they were not artists at all. For the most part, they're both creative in their own way. Yeah. But they weren't like encouraging me to be an artist. I mean, I think they knew that I was into it and they just accepted it because I started winning awards in it at a young age, and
so before you even get into you winning awards, like I mean, so when you were let's say when you first started drawing, for example, if you remember the first thing that you drew back then, like if you have an idea, if you remember.
Oh, like, yeah. Well, I knew I wanted to be an artist since I was like probably 7 or 8. Okay. I was in like 2nd grade, and we were on easel and paint, and I was like, ooh, I want to do this forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like that freeing for me, and I really loved it. And also because I grew up in Jamaica, it's not like in the 70s and 80s there was Toys R Us around the corner. We didn't have that. Yeah. And in fact, maybe this generation, I don't even know what Toys R Us is. Exactly. So we had no toy stores, no online. You can't buy it on Amazon. And so I think it made me very creative. I had to make some of my own toys. Okay. Make doll clothes and make dollhouse and dollhouse furniture. Yep. Out of cardboard. Okay. And fabric scraps. Here we are. Years later, we're still doing the same thing. Nothing's changed.
So the reason why I actually asked that question too, because I remember I got lucky enough to be one of your projects actually this summer. And one of the first things that when you did the script, and then at some point you drew it and then sent it to the whole, I was like, she is doing this actually. She's been doing these things for a long time. She did not just went home and just do this overnight. Like, I mean, this is something she's been doing for a minute. It was almost like, because I also did some fashion event at some point, and I could really relate as somebody who worked with designers and all of that. So I want to know where that part came from.
Oh, with the drawing?
Yeah, the drawing, yeah. So defined, so refined.
Yes. So, yeah. I think, so before I left Jamaica, because I won like this art prize in my school.
So how old were you the first time?
I think I was probably 10 years old.
Wow. So she really been doing this for a long time. Yeah. And she's about that life, like we say. Being about that life.
I think I was born to do this.
That's amazing.
I was gifted a book called Drawing Heads and Hands. Okay. And I started drawing the examples from the book. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And my art teacher, who was my godfather, encouraged me. So, yeah. And I didn't take, like art school in elementary school isn't nothing serious really, but I think when I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, I was like 11 years old, by the way. Yeah. Imagine being 11 years old, not quite 12 yet, and you leave from another country. You're supposed to go from 5th grade to 6th grade, but in Jamaica you take a common entrance test, and if you pass it, you go from 5th to 7th. in Jamaica, that was supposed to be my life, but
Okay.
we left before I could go to 7th grade. And so when I migrated here, I went from 5th grade to 8th grade because my father thought that the education system there was pretty poor in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. Okay.
And he said, give her a grade higher than what she's supposed to be in. So they put me, I was 11 years old in 8th grade.
Wow.
And I survived, and I did okay. But that's when I really took to the paints and the paper, because I was like, I felt like I could relate to no one, culture shock.
Okay.
I had one friend in the whole school.
Wow.
My older half brother also attended the school, but he was a senior and I was basically a freshman. So he wants nothing to do with me as an 8th grade, actually.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
So, So
was that a way for you to kind of like, keep your identity eventually, or like, just like, since like you mentioned that you didn't have that many friends, like, it's like, so if I was to relate to myself as far as dancing is concerned, I grew up in the Jehovah's Witness house. I did. So for me, actually, when I went to school, like dancing on the side for me was something that I did people did not know much about. Even when I started, like, going on tour and all that, so it was almost that I did for myself. So I want to know if drawing for you was almost like not an escape, but something that you did for yourself, or like just because.
I mean, I did it for art class.
Okay, yeah.
I did it for art. Like, art class was when, I had to do an assignment anyway. But yeah, the works were some of them were very personal to me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, in high school, especially when by this time in high school, I'm in Miramar, Florida. I also grew up a little bit in Miami. So,
Okay.
we went from Atlanta to Miami. I did like a summer semester in middle school in Miami, Westview Junior High.
Yeah.
And then I went to Miramar High for high school. And when I was in high school, it got serious.
Okay.
It got serious.
You beat me to that one. Yeah.
It got
we get in
serious.
there. You get in there.
It got serious because the competition was like.
Okay.
It kind of felt like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I learned about more about acrylic painting,
Okay.
Drawing with colored pencils. Like Prismacolor was my favorite thing, and it
Nice.
still is.
Okay.
So I was basically like doing drawing and painting a lot. I never did any sculpture in high school.
I see. So would you tell us about the process? The process, for example, like, when you create, like when you paint or when you draw, like, what's behind, do you have like some that like you want to represent, or most of the time you start from scratch that you have no idea where it's going, then like, bye-bye.
You mean these days or back then?
Even back then, just like back then already, like.
So, in high school, because you have, I knew I wanted to go to art school for college.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that from the get-go.
Okay.
So,
which is important for you guys listening out there. Like,
yeah.
So you knew what you wanted to do.
I
way
knew what
back.
I wanted to do. I made sure I was Art Honor Society president,
Mm-hmm.
co-president, basically.
Okay. Nice.
And I knew that I had to get a portfolio ready if I wanted to be serious about being an artist and going to art school.
Okay.
So with that in my mind, I was like, okay, I want to have I remember for the portfolio, you had to have one section showing examples of the variety of mediums you can work in,
Okay.
or examples or styles,
Mm-hmm.
and then another half of your portfolio has to show consistency, like a breadth, like a series
Okay.
of work.
Yeah.
So I made that part of my portfolio. I emphasize on that part. I made my theme, I don't know, the reoccurring subject matter, I should say, was like lizards. I don't know what made me want to like draw lizards all the time. And in retrospect, is because I grew up in Jamaica and I grew up in Florida, and in the South, so there are lizards.
Yeah, of course.
And there's something I find elegant about their shape, and so, and I just like amphibians. I just like I like creatures like that. I don't know. I'm weird.
That's great. And you also did mention about like, competition by the time you made it to high school. I would like to know, how did you dealt with competition? Like, was it something that you make you want to get even more creative, or you just you competitive by nature? How did you deal with it? Like,
maybe I am. Yes and no. I am competitive in a way, but I don't know if it's all in my visual art practice. You know,
Okay.
I mean, back in the day, I did some modeling and dancing, and so I was kind of competing there, or
Yeah.
competitive there,
Mhm.
because I grew up competing in high school too. I was on the drill team, and we did like during the winter season we would do indoor guard, which is a combination of dance
Mhm.
and artillery, like doing you know, flips and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because when the marching band is not in season, this is what guard members are doing, color guard members are doing, drill team. So we would compete with other schools across the country and stuff, and then that was my way of competing. But it was competing in community and teams.
I see. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, and that informs my work now, actually, in a way.
That's great. And I would like to know as far as like, you know, you the modeling is concerned, for example, like, you know, I mean, those are stuff that you did as well. Like, you know, I mean, so how did that come about as well? Was this something that just crossed your path, or it was just meant to?
Yeah, I did it very briefly, the modeling. I was I think, okay, when I was in high school,
Mhm.
okay, because I was in the drill team.
Yeah.
There was a group of us on the drill team that were selected to model in a catalog for the uniforms.
Okay.
For drill team uniforms, marching band uniforms, anything, those kind of uniforms, cheerleading uniforms. And they reached out to high school girls to audition for it, basically. So I was one of the people in my school that were in that catalog. It's
Okay.
so funny. I think,
Sweet.
I don't know if my parents still has this. It's so funny.
Nice.
So I modeled with some of my teammates, and then when I was in college, I think I was like in a mall or something, and somebody gave me a card for like John Casablanca's Elite Models, which, you know, today I think it's kind of a ripoff. But yeah, and then they're like, oh, come to our modeling school, and I showed it to my mom, and then next thing you know, my mom brings me there because I was like, I really wanted to model because I like performing, and I thought that maybe I could model, so we'll see, you know. I knew I'm not 6 feet tall, I'm only 5'8",
Okay.
but
Which is tall enough.
5'7",
Yeah.
5'7", 5'8". So I ended up doing that, and my mom paid them like, it was at the time like $1,000 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And my mom actually paid for me to go to modeling school, but I think it did help me in a way to project. It did help me with my self-confidence.
Absolutely.
And I think it helped me, because I was a very shy child, extremely shy. It helped me to be a little bit more open.
That's amazing.
And so I was doing like modeling just for fun, you know, like local fashion shows, community stuff.
Yeah.
And then I did some album covers actually, but
Okay.
not for any like, not for big artists.
Yeah.
But you know, my friends or friends of friends or like small bands, you know. Yeah, and so when I moved to New York, I competed in the Miss Jamaica US pageant, and I was first runner-up in the year 2000.
Nice. You learning, man. Like New York City, man. We are so lucky enough to have in the studio to the one and only, man, Jodie, man,
Lyn-Kee-Chow.
Lyn-Kee-Chow, man. Like so happy to have you here, man. Like she is taking us on a journey into her universe, man. Like she does a lot of stuff, and we're gonna find all about it, man. Like if you got any question that you wanna ask over there, you can definitely top it, and I will ask her live. But as on my end, actually, I know you're a performer. You know I'm a dancer as well, so I would like to know where that part. Of course, we already know about your visual art part, but I want to know where the performing part came from. There, you did mention a little bit there, like you said, like even modeling for you. But since you like to perform, it was also there, like, you know, we want to know about the performer, Jodie the performer.
Wow. I've been performing. Thank you. Good question. Yeah. Let's relate on the performance tip. I've been performing since, can I count when elementary school when Raquel didn't get picked to be married, but because she got sick, and I was just like on the sidelines, like, please pick me, please. And they picked me to play Mary
Nice.
in the school play.
Sweet.
I think I was like 6 years old.
Wow.
So I've been performing since then.
Okay.
And I remember sometimes I'd be home and I would just like practice my camera angles. I don't know what that's about. I have no idea, but my little nephew has it too, and I'm just like, uh-oh, he's gonna be a performance artist. Yeah, and also in high school when I was performing for the drill team, me and my two best friends,
Mm-hmm.
Janice and Gisette, they're amazing. We had our own dance team, and for high school, they had like, it's called the Friendship Train. It's our talent show, annual talent show.
Okay.
And so students can audition to be in the talent show, and if you get picked, you get a slot in the talent show, the school talent show. So we had our own hip hop dance group, and we did jazz dance also. So we choreographed and danced to Eric B. and Rakim.
Nice.
I mean, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Paul Abdul. We did it, and we mixed our own tapes, and we would choreograph and dance the sets, and then I would pick out the outfits.
See,
All of
this starts to make sense. Actually, that's the reason why I like to sit with performers like yourself, artists that do so much there, because like now the stories start to come together, everything starts to make sense. Because actually, like I told you guys, I got lucky enough to perform with Jodie over the summer, and the one thing I really did find out first, number one, is like you got a vision. So when you got a vision, sometimes when you first came, we had a script that we read, and then she's telling the story. So what I do most of the time when I'm part of a project, I want to see what you see first. Yeah, so because you got a vision, you want people who are performing with you to match that vision, and then eventually we all gonna bring it to life.
Oh,
like, you know what I mean? So I'm being there and I'm listening to the story, the way you tell the story, the way you narrate it, the people that you pick. And the one thing I also did find out with that project that was really interesting to me, it kind of felt like those people that you work with, they all came. They were meant to be there. You met at a certain time, at a certain place for a reason. So like, if you can tell us a little bit more, like I'm jumping a little bit ahead because you just talked about performance.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm jumping to that one there. Like, so if you want to talk about the jump canoe that you actually did over the summer, man, like, you know what I mean, which you've been doing before. Mm-hmm. That was not your first time doing it. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so the Junk Canoe Come piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've been working on this project titled Junk Canoe Come since 2018.
Okay. Pre-COVID.
Yeah, I was working with an artist named Kanene Holder. She's a friend of mine, also a performance artist, but she's more of a comedian.
Okay.
Hilarious, check her out. She has Sit Your Ass Down group tour. So speaking of the Sit Your Ass Down group tour, imagine 2018, two of us were in Dumbo, not far from where you used to be, in the park. We're looking at the carousel, and she was like thinking, wouldn't it be cool to do a reenactment of people like dressed as enslaved people, and they're on the carousel like, we're free. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about a junk canoe? She didn't know what it was.
Okay,
and
yeah,
I was
definitely
just like,
people know what a junk canoe, because I know some of you guys, they have no idea
what is a junk canoe?
I had an idea about what it was, but she explained it so well, I was right into it. Like really, like yeah. Let people know.
Even though I grew up in Jamaica, believe it or not, I've never seen a live junk canoe with my own eyes.
Okay.
Because it's kind of now, it has been kind of repressed and just not very widely practiced in Jamaica.
How is that?
Because with the abolition of slavery, enslaved people just didn't have to do a masquerade.
Yeah,
they didn't have to. It wasn't.
Yes.
Right? So this tradition faded like, in the late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until I think like around the 1950s that there was a competition, like a call out for people to compete as junk canoe revelers basically.
Mm-hmm.
So all these characters of the junk canoe, by the way, the junk canoe is an Afro-Jamaican masquerade that's typically practiced around Christmas time.
Okay.
And it's usually in its right form, traditional form, it's unannounced, and they just dress up as these colorful characters. There's sometimes they're between 10 and 17 characters. They have different troops in Jamaica, and each troop is their junk canoe is different than the other.
Okay.
No junk canoe is the same. Mm-hmm. When I learned that, I was like, oh, well, I want to have my own junk canoe troupe because it's not something I grew up seeing.
Okay.
So I wanted to make it.
Recreate that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I'm kind of like back in my thinking, it's my imagination. And at the same time, it's just my interpretation of these traditional masquerade characters. And I'm also looking at the archive.
Okay.
I love history. I love learning about our past, and especially, when it comes to my heritage. And so when I, found out about the Junkanoo, it's something I knew about for what, but not really know about,
Exactly, yeah.
And so when I was doing my research, it turns out it was named Junkanoo, named after January Connie, who basically defeated a fort in Ghana from enslavers for 20 years. And so this story went over to the Atlantic. There was, some people say Bahamas invented the Junkanoo, but Jamaicans say Jamaicans invented the Junkanoo. But hey, we're all from the same place,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if you find, Junkanoo celebrated also in Central America, like Belize.
Okay.
Some of the British-speaking Caribbean countries, like they have their own style of Junkanoo. So stylistically it looks different depending on where you are. Even in the Carolinas they have a version of the Junkanoo.
Okay.
So
and like what is being celebrated, like in New Orleans, for example?
It's related to it, actually, believe it or not. In Brazil, the Brazilian Carnival,
Yes.
I heard it's related to it, So it's, or influenced by it somehow. So yeah, it's like early Carnival, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, and so they made a reappearance in like around the 50s. It was a big contest in Jamaica, and they were trying to revive it again, but even today I got like an Instagram post about Junkanoo, how it's still not widely practiced. A lot of people, it's fading, it's a faded art.
Yeah.
And so that's why I chose to make art. I said to Kanena, you mean the Junkanoo? And then we made the first Junkanoo here in New York. But it involved doing this off-Broadway theater show at Ars Nova.
Okay.
And so I basically was her collaborator with that, bringing in my costume design and helping her with the script.
And as far like the costume design is concerned, because I noticed like most of the on the performance there, you created most of the costume all by yourself.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of work, man. Like if you guys get a chance, man, definitely make sure you check her page, like your website. I believe it's on there.
Yeah.
You'll be able to check some of the videos of the work that she did before. Like amazing work. Even just the costume itself, man. Like I remember, like I was Peachy Patchy, and the costume itself. There, when I always I could just imagine the amount of time that you put into it. Just the time over there, like, but also that help you tell your story.
Yeah.
Like this is why I help you tell your story. Like or this is. Peachy Patchy costume is not like what you tell the story, like how you bring it, like so tell us the time that you allocate to like the costume, for example, like the
How do I allocate the time for that? Well, first of all, I always wanted to be I wanted to be a fashion designer in high school.
Okay.
Here we go, back to high school. And even though I was kind of exploring that, I felt like there was something missing with fashion. Like it was too technical for me. I didn't like anything too technical. Like,
okay. You want more freedom?
Yeah. Not a good math person, but I felt like, you gotta know angles, you gotta know geometry, you gotta do a lot of math. No, not for me. So that's why I became an artist. But I always enjoyed fashion. I grew up, Jamaica, we're a very fashionable culture, and like
the Carlos too.
Even my mom is so fashionable. So
nice.
And I grew up making my own dolls' clothes.
Okay.
So, and I also found out my grandfather was a master tailor.
Okay.
So it runs in the blood.
It runs in the family.
To make clothes, my mom would make my pajamas sometimes, and the scrap fabric from that would be used to make my doll clothes. So, I just gravitated towards sewing. I picked up sewing when I was in college, actually.
Okay.
My friend taught me to sew, just me and her, and she taught me a little basics. My mom also taught me a little basics. I'm pretty much self-taught, except for my mom and my friend teaching me. And now I have a sewing tutor. She's amazing. So I'm not that advanced of a sewer. I think I'm okay, but I've sewn a lot of things.
You are great. I've seen your work in person. I've seen it is definitely not average. I would like to know, as far as you with everything that you're actually doing there, I would like to know, where do you find the energy, to piece it all together, because the more we talk to you, the more we find out all these things are what you've been doing for a long time. So it's just part of you.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is actually to me. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Interesting. I forgot what you were asking me.
Yeah, I was asking you about everything that you do actually.
Yeah.
Just to be connected together, like you know what I mean, like that the way you grew up,
Yeah.
like you know, so naturally. So I would like to know. Because it's like we just talked about the show, the show that you put a jump in.
Yeah.
And even
So
that, like I was saying, that people that came to that show, they came in at a certain time. I remember, like even when we met, we came to a party that I was not supposed to come.
yeah, my
I
friend.
was really not supposed to come at all. But somehow they're like Miss Cam, my partner, they're like Delphine made me come. Mind you, I was really one of those parties that I'm like, I really don't want to come there. I'm not trying to come down. The trends are messed up. But I end up coming, so you had a lot of stories like that with your whole crew from the show.
Okay, yeah. So back to fast forward about the John Canoe. So Kanede and I won like a culture push fellowship to develop this John Canoe series.
Mm-hmm.
We only did like one performance together when we had that fellowship in 2017, I think, or 2016, and then. This Kanene decided to go off and do her own thing after we had a sold out show at Ars Nova, by the way.
Nice.
I think this is 2018. And then 2019 I took over John Canoe, changed the title a little bit, and developed all the characters, not just a few for her show.
Okay.
I developed all the characters, did research on all the characters. I'm in the library looking up like Sylvia Winter, looking up various writers about the John Canoe,
Mm-hmm.
and finding like the details of how the enslaved would make some of these costumes from hand-me-down clothes,
Mm-hmm.
And so forth and so forth. And I started with Culture Push's help. It helped me to get the project more visible.
Okay.
And then I was getting asked to perform it in various places. And with every iteration, there's a new character, or the birth of a new character, or an introduction of a new character.
Yeah.
And so now I'm up to like around 10 characters or so. So the project gets bigger and bigger, and I need more and more funding to develop it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and every script is different each time. So it's all original every time I perform it.
Amazing. I would like to know this. So the John Canoe, for example, is something that you wanted to recreate, since it's something that you really never saw, like in Jamaica. Now you did it. So now, what do you think of what you are like? Do you think like when you look at the work that you put the John Canoe, you're happy with it? Like, how do you feel about your work with the John Canoe? Yeah.
Wow, thank you for asking. That's a good question. I've been reflecting a lot actually, because here we are, 2026.
Yeah.
This project started around what, eight years ago. Wow, 7-8 years ago, and I'm thinking about it's not even done yet. There's still a lot left to do. I feel very good about it, but I'm actually, I'm in 2 shows right now that's showing John Canoe work.
Sweet.
March 7th, there's the closing of the Jamaica show at King Manor, and I have 4 of the costumes on display there.
Okay.
So if you're in Jamaica, Queens, check it out.
Absolutely.
And then
you got
I'm
people
also,
out there, man. Coco Motion, how you doing, man? Make sure you go check it out, man. You're not too far from there. And it's your birthday soon. Happy birthday to you, Coco, man. And we see you on Friday. Yeah, definitely go check her out, man. You'll love it. She's also from Jamaica.
Yes, big up. And then I'm also showing in a show at School of Visual Arts Flatiron with John Canoe,
Nice.
showing a John Canoe, the cowhead costume,
Okay.
and a compilation of the videos. I have a 1-hour compilation that's playing right now. You can see from the street.
Ooh,
Because
nice.
it's in the window. The TV's in the window. You
Sweet,
can see
man.
it
That's amazing. That's
on
great to hear.
21st Street.
Sweet, man.
Flatiron.
Definitely go check it out. Go check it out, man. You will
Yeah.
not be disappointed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In a show called Evening Star, curated by Katie Stracone. Yes.
Sweet, man. Very nice. I would love, so now the next chapter down about the touch actually is you being a teacher. So this is also important there, like, like a visual art is something that you've been doing since you were really like, like a kid. And so now you are teaching it, like, how do you feel about that, for example?
Wow, I didn't always know I was going to be a teacher, but And believe it or not, even though I went to grad school here at Hunter, which is a really amazing school, you know, I mean, hey, Hunter makes mistakes too, but
Yeah.
I was given good instruction, I think. I was very shy coming out of grad school. I felt like I still wasn't comfortable as a teacher, even though I TA'd and I taught. Even before that, I would be a substitute teacher to grade school kids in Flushing.
Okay.
I mean, and I did a few teaching workshops before that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was in Miami, I was teaching ceramics to adults right when I got out of college, and I still didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I feel like I just started knowing what I was doing. Like, and I've been teaching at university level for the past 8 years. I also teach at School of Visual Arts, MFA Fine Arts program, and then I also teach at John Jay College, by the way. So I'm an adjunct across 2 schools, and it's a lot.
That's amazing. That's amazing, and she's modest about it. Like, you know what I mean? She talks about it like it is a big deal, man. Like, you know, we are so honored to be sitting with the one and only Jodie, man, with us today, man, like here on the listening room, man. So Jodie, like, you know, so from you giving, like, you know, teaching is also like giving, but also this allows you to be like a forever student yourself.
Yes.
Because you still got research stuff all the time, like, you know what I mean? So tell us about that process. Because a lot of people actually tend to forget about it, yeah.
Well, as I said, I like history. I like art history. I like colonial history, learning about that. Yeah, I think when you're when you have something you're really interested in, like everyone I feel like has something they nerd out about.
Yeah. And
so I nerd out about that, but I also nerd out about art. Something about the process of making things is very transformative and healing.
Yeah.
And I feel like teaching ceramics especially, I feel like I've only been doing it for 2 years at John Jay, almost 2 years. I feel like it's just so transformative and healing, and I feel like I'm natural when I'm teaching first timers how to make something out of clay.
Nice.
I feel like I just finally found my calling, you know?
Sweet.
I teach hand building ceramics, by the way.
Sweet. By the way, she said it like it is.
I had a 20-year hiatus from working in clay because in grad school I did some clay, and I also did some in undergrad, and I was fairly comfortable with the medium, but I took a 20-year break in New York because honestly I didn't feel like I knew where to go. I felt like I couldn't afford it when I found somewhere to go, because ceramics could be a very expensive medium.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I would like to know, Jodie, how do you feel about arts in the world today, like, you know, in general? Like, you know, where do you think art is in the world as we live in today? Like, you know, where would you place it? How important, like, you know?
Art is language. Art is another way to communicate.
Absolutely.
It's another way to announce yourself, to express yourself. There's a lot of code in art.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if you know how to read it, you know, you can tap into a whole other space or find another way to say something. Use it to say something important. These days, we have to use art to say something that's meaningful and important. Yeah.
And where do you see your work going at this point? Like, you know, I mean, of course, just you teaching that, I mean, you still like transmitting knowledge all the time. But where do you see about your personal work? Like, you know, I mean, what to expect from Jodie next? Like, you know, I mean, because we know you're always cooking something. Like, you know, I mean,
well, actually, right now I'm in the Bronx Museum Biennial, the AIM Biennial, the 7th AIM Biennial.
Okay.
Which opened on January 23rd and it ends on June 29th.
Sweet.
Yeah, Bronx Museum, and we just got reviewed in the New York Times and Hyperallergic, the Gothamist, Forbes magazine. Like,
nice.
We have, so check it out if you're in New York City, the Bronx Museum in Biennial. I'm planning to be there tomorrow too.
Sweet.
Probably like from 11 to 12 p.m. 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Yeah.
Like I told you guys, man, we have somebody big, man. Her magnitude, you guys have no idea, man. You guys should be. We are very honored to have you in here today, man, Jodie, man. So I would like to know, so what would you tell to a younger person, they will want to pursue arts or even just like performances or want to become a teacher tomorrow, what would you tell to those people?
Don't give up. It really takes patience sometimes. As I was trying to say, like when I did grad school, I thought, oh, but okay, now I'm ready to teach at university level. I didn't get a teaching job out of grad school until 10 years after grad school.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I learned that 10 years after grad school, or that 5 years after college, before I started teaching or going to grad school, like it takes time, you know.
Patience.
Patience.
And it molds you, prepares you.
If I had gotten that, it was like my 41st birthday, when my boss at SVA asked me if I wanted to teach after giving a talk. And I was just like, oh my God, I finally getting a university teaching job, because I was applying and no one answered me. I didn't even get, I probably got an interview once, but didn't get the job. It's very competitive to get a teaching job in New York. As an artist, adjunct, whatever it is. It's very hard.
Yeah.
So I patted myself on the back. Don't give up. If you just keep doing your work, what you're meant to do will find you, I think. I just kept doing my performance art.
That is so well said.
Yeah.
I just, definitely got to put in the work, man. You got to put in the work. Be consistent with it. Be consistent. Then certain door will open, like, naturally, like, oh, I'm already in. When did I get here? You've been putting the work.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. It's
absolutely.
Such an honor
Yes,
to be
really.
here.
So the one thing I said there, like me working with you there, like, I learned a lot. Number one, I can only see also the passion. And that's why, I don't know if you noticed there, like I was at almost every rehearsal.
Yeah.
I was there every rehearsal, because for me, rehearsal is important. Why? Because that's how we're going to look good on stage.
Yeah.
It's us putting it together, so.
And Z, oh my gosh, I don't know what I've done without you. Thank you for your commitment. And it wasn't even like I had big money to pay my collaborators,
But this is also like the thing about
the vision.
The vision to it, and also like, the history behind it. I could feel the weight of history there.
Thank you.
Like, because the one thing, like, I went to, the first time I went on tour as a performer was in Germany. And everything I knew about Germany back then was from books or videos or films and all that. And when I got there, the one thing I noticed is in Germany, they knew how to live with history.
Yeah.
And how do you know how to live with history? If you don't do your homework, go back, revisit the past and all of that, and that's how you can better live it, not trying to ignore it. Don't try to push it to the side. Don't try to trample it. Like, you have to know your history and live with it. Like, it's like your past. It's your past, but still, you need to know it properly for you to be able to move forward.
Yeah.
I feel like that in your work could be really well seen. Like, I could really feel it.
Oh, thank
Absolutely.
you. Wow.
So you're trying to retrace what you probably did not see in Jamaica. Yeah. You didn't get to witness, but the way you put it together, the way you bring it together, was that people that was new to it, I can relate.
Oh wow!
I can relate,
Thank
and
you.
also being somebody from our, from our culture, like
wow,
really.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, that performance we did on Governor's Island last October, that was like a project I did through the NISCA grant. And I'm just like grateful for my community for making that possible, because remember we changed the venue last minute?
Yep. Oh man.
I originally pitched to do this performance at Columbus Park, downtown Brooklyn, and man, I'm grateful that I had an opportunity at Governor's Island, and the help there was amazing, and we had a better foot traffic, it was comfortable, it was fun. I think, I'm happy I made that decision. But it's hard when you're doing like performance art like this, because it's not in the traditional sense where it's like rehearsed at a theater and we perform in a theater. This is like site-specific performance that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I would love to eventually develop it and maybe take it to a place where we can see it like a theater. I'd be open to that, actually.
Sweet. And that was another one of my questions there, like, Jodie, as somebody who was like a visual artist just like yourself there, like somebody creating, how do you feel about all the technology that the world is being transformed into now, like, like AI and all of that? How do you feel about that part?
Oh, wow, AI.
Like,
Oh my God.
Because no job will be left aside. There's no like, I'm a DJ tomorrow. They're saying that there might be somebody like coming after our work. So,
Let me tell you something. A friend of mine, he literally sent me the link to his new Spotify album. He goes, I just dropped an album. And I'm just like, oh, you're a musician? No, it's with AI. I was just like, what? And the album sounds amazing.
Oh man, yeah, the things that they can
like,
do, yeah.
Wow.
You can build a website in 1 hour now.
Yeah.
You can build a website in 1 hour.
Oh
1
wow,
hour.
I need to do
Less
that. I
than
need
that,
to
like
revamp
a
my
whole website. Like somebody was take like.
Okay.
So how do you feel about that? For example, like if you apply that to your domain, which is like from painting, like or drawing, like how would that affect that universe? For example.
Well, that's a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, I am horrible in Photoshop. But when I had to come up with my rendering for the Bronx Museum to get it for that biennial to see how my ceramics works, we're gonna look on the wall with the monitor in the middle, and I had to do schematics and all this stuff. I was just like, this is a headache. I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna try AI. I'm gonna try it. I fidget around on Instagram a lot. Believe it or not, I made that rendering on Instagram, one of my stories, and then I was just like, asked the AI edit. I said, okay, now that I have the photograph of the work on one side, let's do a mirror effect. Okay, now I want black background. I put all that in there, and it gave me the exact image I wanted. I was just like, what?
Yep.
So
really? Yep.
I didn't have to learn Photoshop to do this, but and it makes me feel like I cheated. Like,
but if you got what you wanted.
Yeah, but I still wish I had the knowledge to do it without all of that.
I feel you.
It's like analog, you know? Like, we grew up in analog times.
Exactly.
And we knew how to, like, you know, we had pagers.
But that molds you. That knowledge there is there for you. It's staying. It's not going nowhere. Trust me. That you can't be afraid of it.
You can't fake an artist.
Absolutely, you really cannot. So New York City, man, we definitely we keeping on time, man. We got 5 more minutes here, but like first, before we let Jodie, man, go, man. I appreciate you so much for your time for being in here. I would like to know, you do so much out there, we almost want to ask you, when do you find the time to sleep with everything you do?
Oh my God.
But you know that, you're a workaholic. You're non-stop, you are always working. You work a lot. But we want to know, why did you learn about yourself from everything that you're doing out there? From you being a performer, a visual artist, a teacher, everything you do out there. What did you learn about yourself doing all of this?
Wow. That I have a lot of energy.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. People wonder, when do you sleep? Because it's easy to see somebody doing so many things. You're like, oh yeah, maybe I can do that too. But somebody get in your shoes and then see how long they last.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very energetic. I maybe I have to say it's probably my diet.
Okay.
I'm like a vegetarian through and through.
Okay.
I'm trying to go on being vegan actually.
Nice.
And I've had this diet for half my life.
Okay.
I really think I owe it to that, and I think it's genetics too. I used to love running, doing 5K just on my own, not a part of a team, not a part of a group. just for your own sake. Yeah. And I grew up doing I did cross country in elementary school, and my grandmother used to walk for miles. So I'm like, okay, it's just a genetic thing. I don't know. I'm Jamaican. We love running. We love running around. We have 10 jobs. It's just the norm. You know what I mean? So
that's amazing, man. That is amazing. It's a great answer, man. Jodie, man, I appreciate you so much for your time. Thank you so very much for being here today. It's been an honor, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for doing what you do. Keep doing what you do. Keep pushing the community. Keep pushing it as you are, man. You are an example, and that's why you're here with us today. Like I said, you're doing so much there. It's only inspiring. It's inspiring, so that's why we need to let more people know about people like yourself, because totally.
Thank you. It's very hard work though, I don't know how I do it. I've been up since 6 a.m. I went to teach 2 classes, and then after school I went to the studio took a nap, and then here I am.
Yeah, she is. And tomorrow, back at it again, man, because she's about that life, man. Yes, we're about to let you guys go, man. Thank you so much for stopping in here. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys stay safe out there. Until next time, next week, you guys need to tune in. We have like one of the finest rappers in New York City coming in here, man. I'm not going to reveal his name. Just stay tuned. That's all I can say. But till then, man, you guys stay safe out there. Thank you so much for coming, Jodie.
Thank you,
till next time, man.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
we out of here. DVR, the listening room. Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.